Hi, and welcome back to the final instalment of Philosophy with Phil, with me, Phil Cohen. We're going to this week. We're going to look at Parshahs Chodesh, and with the help of Rabbi Chaim of Lozatzo and his book Derech Hashem, we're going to see how that relates to the concept of fate and destiny and divine providence or intervention. Well, just to introduce, the Judaism follows the Lunar Calendar, and the commandment to start a Jewish calendar was one of the first commandments given to Moses and Aaron before they were about to leave Egypt, and it very much represents God handing over our calendar to us. After all, it was the Sanhedrin, it was the high courts in Jerusalem that would establish that yes, it was a new month, the new moon had been sighted, and the Torah itself says that it should be lachem, it should be to you, as a holy institution. Before I go on though, and talk about destiny versus choice and versus divine intervention, I want to pose a sort of cheeky question to you. What if we didn't have a choice? What if God was like a puppeteer, pulling the strings and getting us to do what he wanted us to do? How would you feel about that? Would that make you comfortable? Could you live with that? Knowing that you were faithfully following the will of God? People feel uneasy about it. But my question to you would be, well, why? Anyway, moving on. When we talk about God's interaction with the world, we can talk about it in terms of two different things. There's influence and there's knowledge. Let me explain. We've said that God is sustaining the existence of every single molecule, atom, particle of light, photon, and electron, and gravitational force and force of nature. Everything exists sustained by God, and therefore God is infinite, and God knows everything there is to know about every single particle, fundamental force, and so on. But just because God knows everything, and don't forget, his knowledge is infinite and independent of time, so he knows what's going to happen to that particle in the future and that thing, doesn't mean he necessarily has to influence it. It doesn't mean that he can't withdraw himself and allow it to follow the path that we want it to follow. In fact, in Judaism, we do say that man absolutely has free choice over his destiny. We don't believe in fatalism. We don't believe in destiny being mapped out for us. We have the ability to change and to make our own destiny. It's a bit like what psychologists call executive control versus motor control. Let me give you an example. If I'm thirsty, I'll decide to go to the tap, get a glass down from the cupboard, pour myself some water, and drink the water. At an executive level, I'm telling myself I'm thirsty. But in terms of the details, in terms of the motor control that tightens my muscles, grips the tap, grips the glass and pours the water, that's a detail of the motor control. God, as we say, sustains the world, it maintains its existence. And for us to be able to manipulate that world, we need God to be able to do what we expect the world to do. So, for example, if we throw a ball up in the air, it's God that makes it travel through the air and makes it land where it does. And, as we've said previously, these things tend to follow the laws of nature, but not necessarily. So we don't see a conflict between God withdrawing himself and allowing us to take control over the world, and us having control over our own destiny. It's not a sign of weakness of God, quite the opposite. It's a sign of his strength and his restraint. I do hope you've enjoyed these videos and you found them beneficial. Please do feel free to leave feedback. And if I can help, and if there are other topics you feel like I ought to cover, then please do let me know, and I'd be delighted to have a go. Shabbat Shalom. I wish you well.